We have arrived on Koh Rong. We are so excited to be here. This looks absolutely magical. We are currently staying in the Koh Tok area, which I believe is the busiest part of this entire island. It's got loads of shops, bars, restaurants. It's really quiet in the daytime, and I've been told in the nighttime it comes to life with everyone eating on the beach, bars turn up their music, and it turns into a bit of an atmosphere. So we're looking forward to doing that later on tonight. Kai and I are both still feeling a little bit under the weather. So hopefully today will be our last day of feeling sorry for ourselves, get it out of our system. So we've still got 2 days to explore the rest of the island. Today we're going to spend it relatively local at the closest beaches. If this is the first beach and probably the most commercial beach, we're in for an absolute treat. The water is as clear as we've seen in any beach we've been to probably this entire trip so far. This has set the bar. We're now making the walk from Koh Tok Beach to Longset Beach. It's about a 20-minute walk. You've got to go through a bit of the jungle. It's not the best signposted. You're sort of walking through resorts as well, which doesn't seem very nice, but that's the route you got to take to get to the next beach. So we have arrived on Longset Beach. Apart from the nest behind us, which is supposed to be the place to be for backpackers on the entire island, with festivals, drinking games, things happening every day of the week, this is relatively quite quiet. Only a handful of other people on the beach, and just like the last one, it's absolutely stunning. Sand make that noise before. It was like sort of putting feet on squeaky tiles. It was so strange. I've never experienced that, maybe because the sand is so fine and so white. So we're just heading back now to get some dinner. Highly recommend Longset Beach. Really, really pretty. Not too many people if you walk a bit further away from the nest, as I said. But just such nice, warm, clear water. The sand is amazing. Great views. Can't get a sunset from there though, that's the only thing. But we should be heading to some of the west beaches in the next couple of days. So fingers crossed for that. So we nearly got back, but we just couldn't help ourselves stopping at this place for a couple of beers because the views, even though we can't see the sunset, are absolutely outstanding. So for the next couple of days, we've hired a brand new scooter to take us around the island because it is quite a big island. It cost us $10 a day, which is the going rate for this island. I didn't bother haggling this time because the gentleman was really, really nice. But we've just stopped at these massive billboards, which they describe the massive project that's been signed off by the Cambodian government around the development of this island. I do like, however, how they call it the master plan. But you can't see, but at the bottom it says 25 years. And at the bottom of one of these billboards, it says it got signed off just in January of this year. So 25 years from now, they should have completed this project. It just shows how much money and effort is going to go into Koh Rong, starting with this massive highway that's been built. The majority of the roads on Koh Rong are still dirt tracks and incredibly hard to drive around and get towards any form of beach. We might be absolutely crazy nerds for the show Race Across the World, but this is, as I mentioned in the Singapore video, this is the reason why we dreamt about traveling and then exploring the world and then coming to some of the places that they've been on that show. And we finally found it, the 5th and penultimate checkpoint. When they get to Koh Rong, they sign in on that desk. Now, unfortunately, this area has been completely abandoned. As you can tell, there's just mess everywhere. But that is officially the checkpoint desk for number 5 out of 6 checkpoints. We made it. Wouldn't it be a dream if we could hit all 6 eventually? We've done them in reverse order. We've seen 6 Marina Bay Sands. We've now seen 5 Koh Rong, the actual bar they signed in. So we've just got 4, 3, 2 and 1 left. As for this beach, this is called Sok San Beach, and it's got to be our new favourite. There's barely a soul here. The sand is white as you'll get. The sea is crystal clear. It is paradise. Honestly, this beach and sea are just near on perfection. The water's like getting in a bath. It's so warm and so nice. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. And one last bit of sad trivia about Race Across the World is that behind us is the official jetty in which they arrive on the island before they sign in on the checkbook. That is Sok San Resort. We finally realised that's where they stayed during their final checkpoint before going to Singapore. It's so surreal to be here after 3.5 years of watching the show and planning travelling, to finally just be in the sea right next to that jetty. For some it means, well, for most it means absolutely nothing, but to Carly and I, that's our show, so this is just heaven. And to finish the day, we're on the actual jetty with a couple of beers, watching the sunset. You don't get better than this. So we just got back from having a few drinks out. Honestly, Koh Rong isn't really the place for nightlife. There's a few bars, but most people are just having dinner and a couple of quiet drinks. So as long as you're not expecting much from Koh Rong in terms of nightlife, nest aside, then you'll be just fine. It is still a really nice atmosphere, just not a late drinking till sort of 1, 2 in the morning type of place. we've come to the furthest northerly point of the island and come to Lonely Beach, and it is very, very lonely. There is literally just a couple of people on this beach. The water's making but a glistening sound. It is ridiculous. That was one of the most ridiculous sand roads we've ever been on a scooter. If you come in, be super careful. The last kilometre and a half is dreadful. I barely got the scooter out of the sand right at the end, but we're here and we made it. We have found it, finally. The absolute perfection of crystal clear water. This is absolute paradise. I don't think anything comes close to it. Not Rayleigh Beach, not Gilly T, not Nusa Penida, Lonely Beach in Koh Rong. Oh my God, take a bow. Honestly, that's a lovely little restaurant. Apparently it does rooms as well. I don't know how people are getting to that to sleep. I couldn't get our backpack down that tiny little road, but they've got an entire family of dogs and puppies, which are just wonderful. Really adds to what is a beautiful, beautiful beach. So next up on the list of beautiful beaches is Naroth Beach. This literally has no one on it. Apart from the bungalows, we are the only two people on this beach. You'll almost miss the sign for the entrance. It's a tiny little wooden plaque right on the main road, and there's a rocky descent down through a couple of people's huts to get to the beach. But my word, it is as serene and quiet and picturesque as you're gonna get. You probably can't see, but in the distance it looks like there's some floating huts on stilts on that tiny little island. I doubt you can get to them because there's a jetty there that probably takes customers from there to there. I wonder how much they are a night. They look very, very expensive. For the final beach of the day, we've come back to the west side and we're visiting Long Beach. It's just down from Sok San where we were last night, but because we're further around, the sun is actually dipping straight into the sea instead of behind the mountains. The sea is crystal clear again. I'm just repeating myself here, but the sand is completely like walking on white silk carpet. This has got to be one of the best islands that I've ever visited. Is there a better one out there? I don't know. said it a few times on my videos, but it's moments like this, when you're on a beach as beautiful as this, with the sun setting, this is the reason why we've come travelling. This is beyond lucky. This is just... the last beach that we're visiting in this video and on this island, because we check out later and get the ferry back to Sihanoukville this afternoon. We have come to Coconut Beach. It's on the far southeasterly tip of the island. It's actually a bit of a distance to go to, but it's a lot easier than what we did yesterday on Lonely Beach. The main road runs right up until the beach, probably just a kilometre away, and the rest of the road is a lot easier to trek down. There's loads of construction going on in this area, which just shows in the next sort of 5 to 10 years this will probably be the beach to come to for a more secluded resort with your own sunrise and this beautiful beach. So, as our time comes to an end on this amazing island, I just wanted to talk to you about potentially 3 considerations when coming to Koh Rong. Bearing in mind, none of these should stop you coming, it's just worth noting. 1, litter. This place is similar to everywhere in Southeast Asia that we have been. It is full of plastic on beaches and dumped on sides of roads and in fields. It's just a bit of a mess, but you can understand because they're trying to build something here and they haven't got the infrastructure yet in place. Number 2 is sandflies. They are everywhere on the beaches, so definitely stay in the water as much as possible. We've used oil and DEET combination, which seemed to have worked really well. But they are well known for being on this island and causing a lot of bites and scratch marks. Finally, electricity. Not one you'd think would be a problem, but actually on this island there is a lot of power outages. We've had more power cuts here than we've had anywhere in Southeast Asia, probably 5 to 10 a day. It does make it quite difficult then for things like charging your phone and internet and aircon. They become even more of a luxury. This has to be one of the greatest places, greatest islands I've ever been. Hopefully in this video you've just seen how beautiful the beaches are and the sea itself. Why wouldn't you want to come here? Honestly, the level of development they're doing here, in about a decade, this might be the place to come in all of Southeast Asia for the food, the drink, the lifestyle, and just the absolute beauty. This is an unbelievable place. You have to come here if you're anywhere near Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. You've got to get this on your list. That is the end of this amazing video. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have being here. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.